You know, Cecil, I remember oh so fondly when you and I finally got around to making a movie together.
Yeah, we made a little short film, and let me tell you, turned out way better than it did for these people.
Greetings, Freight fans, and welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Jaime and Fuego.
I'm Cecil Laird.
And we are back at the Phoenix Film Festival 2019, covering the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival that works in conjunction with PFF. And we are going to be discussing another entry in found footage. This is They're Inside. They're Inside. They're
Inside. For those of you, I just want to make sure people spell it right.
Yeah. They apostrophe R-E
yes,
inside.
Thank you very much.
They're inside.
This is the found footage entry in the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival of this year, and honestly, being such, I'm glad that it was, because you know, having thought about it for a bit more, I actually did really enjoy this movie quite a bit. I knew I did last night after walking out, but I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, yeah, I really like that they did that, and I really like that they did that. There are tropes that they fall into, found footage tropes that I don't even know I could say they fell into it as much as purposefully exploited those tropes.
And
you know what I mean?
Sometimes they're necessities for found footage too.
Right.
They're unavoidable.
Right. So overall, I really enjoyed this one. So obviously, we're going to do this review like normal. So.
Yeah. I don't typically like found footage, and I really like this movie. This is one of my favorites that I've seen at the festival so far. It was grisly, it was inventive, and it was a fresh take on it. Was something that I hadn't seen before as far as found footage goes. Who knows if there's something similar out there? I'm sure there might be.
Yeah, but I'll make that comparison.
Yeah, because you've watched a whole lot more of it than me. But for at least what I have seen and what my experience is with it, yeah, I really enjoyed this quite a bit.
So basically, this movie is the Hollywood pitch is it's keep watching, a found footage movie from about 2 years ago. Yeah. Meets Keep Watching, by the way, starring the kid from Walking Dead.
Coral. Oh, okay.
As well
name I can't remember.
as well as Bella Thorne. For those of you horror fans,
okay.
and you know who she is as well. So it's a mixture of that movie along with The Strangers, straight up, because this is
very not even trying to hide it.
I mean, it's basically it's about a crew. A film crew going to make this female director's first feature film on a shoestring, film crew, like 5 people handling everything. And when they get out there, weird stuff starts to happen, and it becomes kind of a pseudo home invasion movie, but all told in found footage. But and I know a lot of you guys tune out right when you hear found footage, but
or when you hear home invasion.
Hear us out, because Fuego usually does too. Like, he's not normally.
I don't like either of those genres.
He's not really a big fan of those. So, but hear out why he likes it if you're that person. Hear out why I like it if you're a found footage fan. So, Fuego, what did you think of the story? I mean, that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, it does boil down to this kinship or lack thereof, trying to repair a damaged relationship between 2 sisters. Yes. And that's what really, it cut to my emotional core. And I felt like, despite a hammy bit of dialogue here or there, I thought the whole movie was pretty well acted, and we'll get to that afterwards. Agreed. But it was that emotional thread, and just trying to figure things out and trying to bond and everything, and that really just got to me. And then also on the flip side of things, I felt like the sequencing of there's a couple different things where they make you think one thing is transpiring, and then they flip the script a little bit, which I enjoyed. And I felt like the sequencing and the structuring was actually pretty interesting as well. Now, maybe I wouldn't have been as captivated or whatever if I've seen more from both of these respective genres, but nonetheless, I felt like there really is nothing new under the sun, as everybody always says, so you do have to take different genres, whether it's music or movies or whatever, and meld them together to get something that feels a little more fresh. And this was the right recipe for me, at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It does some familiar things. It does sort of jump around in time a little bit, making giving you sort of a feel of what's going on now and what's gone on before and things like that. Trying to throw you off a little bit, which it kind of successfully did for me, for sure. And so I appreciated what they did using the gimmick that's been used before is what I'm trying to drive at there. So when the bad people start getting involved a little more heavily, that's when it obviously really picks up steam. That's at about the halfway point. That's when the movie turns.
Yeah.
And I really dug how it played out story-wise.
Yeah, it's a fine line between giving too much time to characters just to get you to care about them once they start getting killed. This porridge was just right, at least for me. Now, if I hadn't found the characters as likable as I did, because there wasn't anyone in particular that I was just like, oh God, they're sticking out like a sore thumb, they're terrible. There were others which were lessers, and didn't have as much development time, obviously, but there wasn't anyone in particular that I just despised and wanted to die or anything of that nature.
No,
so
I agree with that.
They succeeded with that, and the fact that I kind of gave a crap about the characters once stuff really started to get cranked up.
And just as a little throw in here for all the ladies watching, there is a bit of nudity in this movie, but it is not the typical kind of nudity that I appreciate.
If you've ever seen Dewey Cox.
Okay, I don't think I've actually seen that all the way through.
Walk hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's great.
But nonetheless, if you appreciate that kind of thing, then you get eyefuls of it. So anyway, moving right into or continuing with the acting, like you were saying, I really appreciated the acting. There was no one that I felt really and it was funny too because two people played the main actors of the film. One of them was a classically trained actress, and one of them is a guy that kind of taught himself. And there's a scene in particular where he's trying to play this really emotional
That was really
scene.
funny.
Oh my God, it made me laugh so hard the way he delivers the lines.
And it was very deliberately done that way.
Yeah,
and
like
damn,
that's
was it
pretty
effective.
skillful
Yeah.
to be an actor trying to be a bad actor or
Yeah.
something. It's actually pretty hard to do.
And I thought we were supposed to dislike both of them, but I ended up, and she was a babe too. Honestly, I thought all three of the women were
really
both
cute.
solid actresses and very
pretty. If I had my
pretty.
druthers, I like the director the most.
Yeah.
I like that look, man. I like that look.
Yeah, she's
that
pretty.
pixie haircut and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, the
Robin,
effects
right?
of the movie.
Yeah.
No, Robin was the sister. Oh no, Robin was the
Robin
director.
was the
Yes,
director.
the sister was Cody.
Cody. Yeah.
So let's get into the effects briefly here because when the effects happened, they really went for it. Like it went really gruesome.
There's a couple scenes. There was one in particular where I felt your reaction.
Oh my
in
God, I
theater. You were
loved it.
just like, yeah.
I loved it because they not only did they not cut away, but they lingered and went back one or two more times.
And honestly, the edit on it looked so seamless, dude.
Yeah,
I was just
good.
like, whoo, okay.
Yeah. And then there was actually a couple of really good ones, honestly.
Yeah, I'm
I
thinking
really
of
liked
three
them all.
right
Yeah.
off the bat. Yeah, yeah.
Same
they had some
three I'm thinking
good
of.
set pieces.
So definitely worth it on the gore side. And then the other thing I want to touch on without spoiling is found footage movies to me are largely made or broken by the ending.
Yeah.
Like, has this been worth my time? Because it always takes a build up of a half an hour to learn who the characters are.
Yeah.
And then there's the slow half hour as things start to happen, and then there's the quick half hour where everything wraps up. So it has to stick the landing. This one stuck the landing for
Amen.
me in such a way that I was just unnerved, not even unnerved, just I walked out kind of wanting to shower a little bit afterwards. You know what I mean? It gave me that feel.
Yeah.
And the
Good
way they
horror movies do
presented
that,
the title
though.
too, the movie title was so great.
I've seen that so much more of a thing now, where they're showing the title at the end of a film. That's almost like
but that
old
was so
70s
appropriate.
style.
Yeah, and then that's what it made it feel like. But with the new found footage aesthetic and stuff like that. So I
and
really
also
like that.
it puts the title into specific different contexts too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Score-wise,
true.
yeah. I
Score-wise,
actually really dug the ending. Score-wise, nothing that's supremely stuck out, but I thought it was solid as far as building dread and whatnot. And sound effects. Was there anything that sound design or
the sound design
of
of the kills and everything were all really good. I really liked it all. I mean, there was obviously some flubs and things like that, considering there's a point at which you see some fixed camera angles with counters going, and you see the film making cuts, but the counters aren't changing. It's still counting it there. I'm like, no, that should change a few seconds if you're doing that.
Okay.
So as an editor, as a filmmaker, wannabe, I should say.
Well, and also,
I that stuff's kind of stuck out to me, but
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, that's a small gripe, you know what I mean?
Oh, totally,
Small
totally.
gripe.
I don't have any major gripes about this movie, really, at all, honestly. And yet, it's cool because there's a few edits that happen in the movie that are clues as to what's really going on. And I thought that, because at first I was like, what are they doing this for?
That's right.
And then
the
I was
weird
just like,
nature
oh,
shit.
I was like, ah. And that's where I started putting a couple puzzle pieces together and kind of starting to figure out what, I was like, I hope that's what they do at the ending. And then I was like, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there you go, guys. I think that's as much as we can say or should say about They're Inside.
One of my favorites of the festival, dude.
Yeah, make sure. This one is definitely going to come out like in 9 months, 8 months, and then everyone else is going to be like, oh, you guys should go see They're Inside. And we'll be like, yeah, we saw that like 8 months ago.
Yeah, where you been, yo?
It's one of those. It's one of those that's going to get the right kind of attention once
agree.
it finally gets released. I'll bet.
It definitely needs to. Monty said it is going straight VOD, but he didn't give a specific day or anything like that. So keep your eyes out for They're Inside.
Indeed. So thank you once again to Monty from the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. Thank you to Jason from the Phoenix Film Festival, and thank you to Patrick from Ally Global Marketing for allowing us to cover this badass event every single year so far for the last 5 or so years. And thank you to Harkins for being an awesome theater to have it at.
Local, Arizona base, yo. What up?
And thank you guys for watching once again.
We
Until
appreciate
next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I've been Jaime Fuego.
And remember,
Stay scared.